Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, finally, October 3rd. And today we will cover the trades for YieldMax funds, TSLY, CONY, NVDY, MSTY, SMCY, PLTY, and HOOY. Baby is sleeping. Let's see how long it takes for him to wake up. All right, Bitcoin is at 120K. So yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. You know, it was there yesterday, hit 121, came back down a little bit, went all the way down to 119, and here we are back to 120. So good day. We'll see. Friday, looking somewhat green for the most part. All right, so trades yesterday, if my mouse works, it would help. Who had trades? I mean, probably a lot of people. MSTY will be the death of me because they had a ridiculous amount of trades. And I kind of, expected it because, to be honest, the trades from Wednesday, if you'll notice, they were all rolled into the same week. So, of course, if you're rolling into the same week, you're more than likely to move and close out some positions with an expiration date 1 day away. If they rolled them into the following week, things would be a little different. So yeah. I'm not going to, go through them here because we have it on the spreadsheet, but I think you can get the gist of, what happened yesterday, closing, moving up and out. All right. In the end, it was a realized loss of $67 million. Which, yeah, it's starting to hurt. Ouch, and more ouch. Actually, I need to make sure this formula still works. Okay, good. All right, so let me fix the zoomage for you guys. So again, yesterday was October 2nd. Synthetic wise, they closed out 1,900 contracts from the 330. The 330. If you look down here, is doing well because MSTR is at 352. So when you sell out a portion of a synthetic where the price of the underlying is above, the synthetic strike, the call is typically going to be worth more than the put. So at least on the synthetic part, it may have been a forced closure too, because again, this is probably because people sold out of the fund. They made about 3.7 mil. All right. Now we go to the weeklies tab where basically everything is. So yeah, how far do I have to scroll up? And if you missed yesterday's live, just a reminder, as after 1031, I'm no longer tracking MSTY this way. I'm going to track YieldMax as a whole a little differently. This is just not manageable and worth it anymore. So I'm not going to go through every single damn trade. I'll still download the trades and we'll talk about the trades. But I'm trying to, and I have no idea what I'm going to do yet, but it's going to be a little more automated, something that will give me a little more time at night because I can't be sitting around plugging in, these trades anymore. There's just too many. But anyway, MSTR, they went up 4.11%. MSTY, they went up 2.65%. That is rough. That's a rough capture. And the day before, it wasn't that good, right? So we're just having a rough week here. Again, MSTY, it's almost at 15, which is fantastic, but it's not easy to get there because of the covered calls. But they're doing their best. They're moving money in and out, trying to capture most of the upside. But, again, once Bitcoin runs, once MSTR runs, So it's just like, it doesn't seem like it's going to stop. And the IV, that's the thing, man. The IV, I feel like last year we would have been sitting at like 80% or something. I don't know. I feel like it was so much higher. 58 and 57% IV is just not cutting it. Even today, it's at 58. 7-day forward, at least, is at 66. But again, it's not it's not the best. But whatever, we'll work with what we got. So let's look at the trades. Again, there was just so many, and I don't think, some of you do appreciate the line by line, but I don't think it's necessary anymore. As long as we understand now, most of us that have been here, we understand how the funds work. But you can see again, in the green open price, these are the covered calls. So this is the credit per share that they would have gotten when they sold the call. But this is the debit, the expense they have to pay to close the call, which you do not want this number greater than that number, especially by this much. So what does that mean? That means the covered call, they got capped. All right. So the strike price of the underlying MSTR, it's at 352, right? So of course, yeah, we have to cover the gap between that price and the strike price here. And that's what this damage is. But on the flip side, they do credit call spreads, which means they buy a long call, and they choose a strike price that's higher than the covered call price. So that way, the reason is in case they get blown through, and they got blown through. So here we are. You can see this. The expense was 257, and they got a credit of 886 per share. So obviously, this is offsetting the damage and helping us, capture more of the upside. All right. And then, same thing, again, more damage here, then credit there, damage here, credit there. So you can see the moral of the story is every covered call got blown through. I mean, there's no doubt about it, because MSTRs, it's not stopping, right? If I look at the pre-market, actually, MSTR shows to be flat, but I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. All right. So if we keep going. Yeah. And then there's some gaps here. A lot of 10-3s left maybe to close. They opened a bunch of 10-10s. So yeah, today's going to be, freaking Tradezilla as well, everywhere. But the moral, like I said, the moral of the story is cover calls got blown through. So again, in red here, this is the loss, the overall loss on the covered call, and the credit, the green credit. This is the credit on the long call. So if I highlight the bunch that we were just talking about, so this bunch here, again, it's an overall loss of 51 million. But yeah, without the long calls, it would have been worse for sure. But still, again, that's why you see, this is why we're not moving 1-to-1 with the underlying, right? Because this, these losses are pushing us down. But on the flip side, when MSTR trades flat, moves up just a little bit or moves down, just a little bit, we're a fantastic fund. Like, this fund works great, right? MSTY, we love it, right? But when in times like this, it's just like, we're getting punched in the face every day. All right, so I'm going to highlight everything actually that closed yesterday. So for the day, $53.8 million dollar loss overall, like for the the net between the trades that were opened. All right. Now that that's over, again, I almost, like I said yesterday, I want to go line by line because that's what I'm doing yesterday, plugging in line by line. But you guys get the gist. It's not it's no longer rocket science. Maybe it was in the beginning. It's no longer. All right. So what do we got here? Decrease in outstanding shares of 1.4 mil. We're now sitting at 289 mil, if you care. And then the recap is the MSTY price is 1473. MSTR price sits at 352.33. 30-day IV, 58%. 7-day forward IV, 66%. And we just covered outstanding shares. Total net income, unfortunately, it's now a loss of $149 million. So there will be no annualize that sucker because it's negative. So nothing to report there. All right. I don't know why, but the Bitcoin supply on Coin Market Cap, maybe it's no longer a reliable source. It's not updating. It still shows 19,928,203. And again, that's now 3 days in a row, which I'm not believing that. So, I'll give it maybe a few more days. And if not, maybe I'll find a new source. All right. MNAV again, this is the MNAV for MSTR. It went up 4% to 1.51. Still, considered based on the breakdown down here, an attractive entry, as they say. So for what it's worth, of course. Now, if we look at the various MSTR funds and we compare them, let's just see how they did yesterday. Again, big upday, 4% upday. That's huge. MSTY we talked about, they went up 2.65%. Winter went down. Again, that's expected. It went down 3.48%. IMST, they captured 1.57%, which is really bad, actually. MST, as expected, whooping ass. Again, they got that leverage. They got all that leverage, which killed them and made them tank. And it hurt them. You could see it's $10, but at least, they had a nice day, 8% up day. MS2, this is kind of weak actually for them. They went up 2.88%, so I would have expected better. MSTW, they went up 4.81%. What was MSTR again? Okay, so that's reasonable for them. So that's pretty good. And then we got MTYY. Again, limited upside. You take the good with the bad. The good is the downside protection. The bad is limited upside. And here you go. Here's your limited upside. But MST, clear winner. Again, when MSTR has a big update, MST is always going to win. It's not even going to be close. It's not even fair, I know. But, let's give them something. A little something there. All right, reaction. This is how I felt yesterday. Just numbers everywhere. Numbers, and numbers. Anyway, Group D declares in 19 days. All right, so what are we doing here? Again, this is the payment info. What is the breakdown? We have 13 cycles, 13 payment cycles, and we're on the 13th because 10/31 ends the fiscal year. So that's it. This next payment is it. At least that's what I'm showing. So what do we got? We got synthetic loss, 4.1 mil. We got a weekly loss, 149 mil. That's a total net loss of 153 mil. So again, nothing fantastic to report. Of course, there's synthetics. The problem is they were just so far beat up, so far behind, that there's not much to cash out yet. The 330, yeah, we can make some bank on that. But they have not cashed them out, which is why you don't see any credit on the synthetic side. All right, so let's look at the Rotometer if you want to estimate the MSTY payment. Obviously, on the weeklies, there's nothing to report there. If we use the extrinsic income, which basically that's the opening price, the credit that they got when they first started the position, I'm showing that to be 41% yield at 46 cents. If we use the IVs, that varies from 59 to 67. So that could be a 67 to 76 cent payment. All right, let's look at the holdings and see how we doing. Again, here's their synthetics. They got what, a 410, which that's the gold digger. No catching her. And then what's it? MSTR is at 352. So it's priced above the 330 and above the 345. So now we're in a good spot on 2 of the 3 synthetics. However, the one that expires this month is the 410. So we're going to take a hit on that when they do decide to close it. But the movement in and out, you as you've seen, they've been moving in and out using the 330 because that's closest, was closest to the money. Now the 345 is really, so I would expect they maybe would use that. I don't know. We shall see. All right, trades that are left for the week. Again, anything in red font, I typically just highlight it so it's easy to tell that's for the following week. But anything in the black font still, these are covered calls, credit call spreads that expire today, actually, because again, today is Friday. Today is expiration date. So let's see how we're doing here. And kind of as expected, we're in the money on 2 of the 3 strikes. If we look again at the pre-market, MSTR is actually still not moving, at least based on what I'm looking at here on Thinkorswim. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing that tells me it's going to go down, but you never know. We could still win all of these trades that are left, but we'll see. We'll just have to play it by ear. Oh, he woke up. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. All right. Anyway, the value of this fund is 4.2 bill. The NAV is 1474. Trade price 1473. Synthetics now you can see again the gold digger is worth negative 69 cents per share, but the 330 is now worth 45 cents per share, and the 345 is positive as well. It's worth 11 cents per share. Now, if we look at the synthetic position, it totals about 122,715 contracts. They're selling calls on 81% of that position, and then they have credit call spreads on 85% of that. All right, does that make sense? Good, great, wonderful. Yippee-ki-yay. All right, so that's the update on MSTY. Now we can go to the other funds. Again, we're covering some other funds, and we're going to start with the one, the only, the CONY, right? What is CONY? CONY is, so if you are a Conehead fan, you probably own CONY because you're a CONY head. All right. So again, this is the top. This is an alphabetical order. This is the download of the trades, obviously. So you can see, obviously, the ones that we don't cover. But let me skippity through that, and then we can see again. We get to CONY. Quick summary. What did they do? Well, they got their butts kicked on this one. Look at this. Buy to close $34.78. But look at the strike, man. 335. Stock price went to 372. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. There's days like that, and you just want to say, yeah, that hurt. And then you look here, buy to close 1391. Again, that hurt. But what did they do? Let's look at the top one. They closed 2,400. They opened 2,400 here, sold a call, but they chose 1010 next week, and they chose a 380. All right, so they moved it up and out. All right, so that's probably the moral of the story for the trades yesterday. But on the way out, they got their butts kicked, and they had to pay the piper. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you go down here, it's going to be a loss, and it is, of 19.4 mil. All right. By the way, thank you all for being here that are live. I see you chit-chatting away, mostly YouTube chat. We have 274 people between YouTube and X. I know it's early, and it's Friday, so not many attending. But, the OGs are here, and I appreciate that. So let's go to Coin and CONY. So how did Coin do yesterday? I mean, Coin did freaking nuts. It went crazy. It went up 6.96%. CONY went up 5.41. That is almost an 80% capture. So that's not bad. 77%. So, I mean, could be worse. Now let's look at the synthetic. They got a 300 and a 320, and I'm taking a sip of coffee. Yeah. All right. That helped. I'm a little awake now. And then since the little one's up, I could be a little more obnoxious. All right. Coin price is at 372. Obviously, these synthetic positions are worth a lot. So we'll cover that when we get to it. But you'll notice all of these trades are in red, right? All of them expire next week. CONY fund manager, he may be off today. He may be surfing in the waters today because all of his calls expire next week, bruh. All right. And how they doing? Well, again, it's too early to talk. I never want to talk about next week's trades and the prior week because a lot can happen. But the summary is they are 1 to 3% out of the money for what it's worth. All right. So the value of the CONY fund is 1.4 bill. The NAV is 741. Trade price around the same. Here's the synthetic. It's worth $1.22, which is, yes, a pretty penny on a $7 fund. As far as synthetic contracts, they total 38,000. They're selling calls, credit call spreads on the whole shebang. The 30-day IV of coin is still doing well. It's 67%, 7-day forward to 73. So again, that's good. CONY fund, coin has a higher implied volatility than MSTR consistently, it seems too. So, take that for what it's worth. Declaration date though, it's in 12 days. So, we got some time up in her. They're part of Group C. All right. Up next is your boy HOOY. All right. So, what did HOOY do? HOOY. What did HOOY do? What did HOOY do? Not much, which is good, thankfully. They closed out, it looks like 500 on the synthetic, 500 on the weekly. Probably, again, people selling out of the fund, but they made money on the synthetic on the way out. So that's good to see. Bought a close on the covered call. Yeah, I'm not going to say blown through, but they did, close this. Looks like while the stock price was higher than the strike, and they rolled that sucker up and out, up in price, out in date. So, but for the day, they did make 1.6 mil. So again, HOOY fund always looking good up in her. And Robinhood, damn, what a day. Damn, what a day. Damn, what a day. This stock, it went down, I think, the day prior, as it should have, right? But now went back up 4.5%. So this thing is, I should probably look into trading what is the 2X Robinhood fund? Let me see. I did put it on my watch list. Oh, damn, it's $112. Never mind. My broke ass can't afford that. But anyway, Robinhood went up 4.5%. HOOY went up 3.05. So that is a 67% capture. Not the best, not the worst, not the best. All right. So what about their synthetic? Well, there's not much to talk about. They're going to make bank when they close this out. It's a 105. Robinhood's at 145. So yeah. All right. So covered calls. Again, black fund expires today being Friday, the expiration date. And if we look, they got 3 strikes for today, 145, 146, 147. One's in the money. The other 2 are out of the money, but barely. And, Robinhood, we'll see how it goes with it. The 2X fund is up 1%. So Robinhood's up about a half. So it's going to be a close one. Now, if we go down here, we can see the value of this fund is 241 mil. That's the assets under management. The NAV is 77.13, and the trade price is a little off at 76.94, but whatever. Now, this is the key here. The synthetic income on this is ridiculous. It's worth $68 million. Now, that, you divide that by the number of outstanding shares, and you basically calculate how much it is worth per share. And that comes to $21.92, which, again, this synthetic, you can see it expires 10/17. That's not this week, not next week, but the week after. So they're closing this one soon. And this is going to be a realized income, right? This is going to be a realized gain. This is going to be something that they have to pay out, right? 90% of it, right? So, I mean, what are we talking here? Like, what are they going to have some type of ridiculous payment? And they won't be alone, right? There's other Robinhood funds, HOOW. Like, what the heck is that thing going to pay? That thing's probably been going up like craziness. So, and I'm sure they've been underpaying what they're making, right? But just stay tuned, man. These Robinhood funds, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Again, I don't know what Roundhill's fiscal year is actually. Maybe they're 12/31, but yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. Anyway, synthetic contracts, they total 16,780. They're doing the credit call spread, the whole shebang. They're using all of it. All right, they're making it all work. Now, the 30-day IV of Robinhood is 62%. That's pretty good. 7-day forward, 65. It's all right. It's all right. Again, they're like the brokerage, right? They're a little brokerage platform. That's high. That's high. And they're a good platform, right? They're a good company. Like I always say, Robinhood is the only reason I got into investing, because they offered commission. I saw commission free. I'm like, hallelujah, hallelujah. So it was from there. I probably should have freaking invested in Robinhood. I don't even know if they're public then, but yeah, man, it's a good company. I know they block the sell button or the buy or whatever button. I know. I'm still pissed about that too, but whatever. All right. So Group C declares in 12 days, 10:15. All right. Oh man, we're only on NVDY. We are moving slow today, but it's Friday, right? Where the hell are we going? All right. So let's go to NVDY for the nerds out there and their chips. Yeah, calculation. Let me get my super microchip here and calculate how much I made today. Let me see here. I lost money. That's interesting. I lost $4.48. All right, I lost more money here, and I keep losing money. Why am I losing so much money? All right. Anyway, let's get real here. Covered calls. Again, NVIDIA has been going up clearly, so the covered calls, they're closing them out and they're rolling them suckers up. All right, and that's what they're doing. But it's a loss. 18.6 mil. They got capped. Cappity doodah. All right, more cappity doodah. Sorry, guys. All right, how did NVIDIA do yesterday? Not good. They only went up 0.87%. And to be honest, like, this is a freaking what the heck? 54% capture on a day like this. This should be 100% capture, 90% capture, 80% capture. But we got 0.47%. We got 54% capture because we are probably capped out of our I don't know. Is that a bad word? But anyway, what are we doing on the synthetic? Well, we're not doing anything yet, but they do expire in November, so that's why probably. But it's a 165 and a 170. NVIDIA is at 188, so yeah, they're doing good. The synthetic is doing good. Now the covered calls that they left open is a 187.50. It has a fighting chance. Let me check NVDL or NVDX in the pre-market. It is up 0.87%. So divide that in two, and that's pretty much what NVIDIA is up in the pre-market. So again, it's going to be close race. We'll see what happens. We shall be here to cover it, okay? The value of this fund is 1.8 bill. The NAV 1692, trade price penny more. The value of the synthetics together 204 per share. Not bad, not great, not bad, not like HOOY, but good enough, broski. Synthetic contracts 98,000. They're selling covered calls in the whole thing. They're buying the long calls on 85% of those in case they get some more cappity doodah, because this market be thug nasty as we see. 30-day IV, again, still chilling in this range, 37%, nothing new there. 7-day forward sits at 41, so that's aight. Group B actually declares next week, 5 days away. Nothing tells me that they're going to pay anything crazy. So, don't get too excited, NVIDIA nerds. So, it'll just be probably just a normal payment. All right. It's okay. All right. PLTY is up. We are thirsty, though. Okay. All right. How you doing, Palantir? Well, before we actually have to look at the trades. Okay. My goodness. This is crazy. The amount of trades is just insane. All right. Anyway, buy to close 5:15. All right. What is that? That means blown through. Only $5, but still $5 higher. So they have to cover the gap. Again, they have to pay to close so they don't get assigned. All right. So they paid to close and they opened new positions for next week, Friday's expiration. They made a new credit with a higher strike price to capture more upside and more income. So that's the idea. But for the most part, yes, another loss, 7.8 mil. Took a beat down. And here we go again. Palantir went up 1.12%. PLTY only captured 0.63%. So a measly 56% capture, which, that's more suckety-doo-dah, unfortunately. Now, if we look here, what's the synthetic doing? We're looking at a 160. Palantir's at 187.50. So this thing is going to be worth a lot of money. When does it expire, though? Not this fiscal year. So they'll probably leave that sucker alone until next year. All right. Next fiscal year, not next year. All right. So covered calls left over 185, 1% in the money, 187.50. 0.24% out of the money. So we'll see how that goes. Now, the value of this sucker is 682 mil. The NAV is 66.38. Trade price 66.46. Again, this fund launched at $50 freaking dollars. And if, again, just amazing if you got in at that price, because you've been getting nothing but bank. You've been collecting dividends, or shall we say distributions, and getting capital gains. All right. So you're making that bank, bro, right? Just cashing checks, son. Now here we are. The current synthetic is worth about 10.08 per share. Is that good? Yeah, it's fantastic. But again, like I said, they're probably not going to close that sucker out, before the end of October. Synthetic contracts, they total 36,000. They're doing credit call spreads on the whole shebang. All right. So they're using all them up. Now let's look at their IV. Palantir's IV is 52%. 7-day forward is 58. So kind of in the range where it always is. But check this out. Again, they do declare next week and they have an income estimate of 45. All right. So that's one thing to consider. I think we're looking at a north of $5 for sure. At least in my eyes. Again, I know I've been wrong before. I got no problem being wrong again, but there's probably no way I'm guessing under $5. All right. So we got, again, 5 days till the next declaration because they're part of Group B and they declare on October 8th. Now, we covering this SMCY suckers because there's always got to be a sucker, right? The working man's a sucker. You know. All right. So coffee time. Let me take a sip. By the way, good morning. Those of you watching on YouTube and X, I appreciate it. If you're on X and you want to repost this stream, obviously, yes, that would help the channel. If you're on YouTube, then you could just hit the like button and just type in the chat. Say hi to everyone. Say hi to me. I'm looking at it. I may not be responding. Maybe, I respond typically towards the end, but just say good morning. There's a lot of nice people in the chat. They do not bite. There are some good peeps, some loyals there. Okay, so let's look at the SMCY suckers. They closed out 2,500 contracts. The synthetic made some money. Again, forced closure it looks like. But what the hell do I know, right? Because you get people probably sold out of the fund. Here's a buy to close. Cost them a pretty penny because their covered calls are also capped. Because again, the market is just green. When the market's like this, typically covered call funds will, struggle, right? But overall, this fund actually made money yesterday. They made $291,000. So bravo to, the SMCY suckers out there. Now, SMCY did not do much yesterday. They went up. Garbage man here. I put the garbage out. Oh, yeah, I remembered. SMCI went up 0.21%. 0.21%. SMCY actually went up more. So there you go. There you freaking go. Let's go. All right. Anyway, let's look at the synthetic. They got a 40. All right. And what? SMCY sits at 52. This one also expires in November, so maybe they'll just leave that alone for the fiscal year. And look at this. I guess the SMCY sucker, he's done too. He's hanging out with the CONY guy, surfing them waves today. Cowabunga, all that jazz. 10-10 expiration. They're done. They're done for the day, I think. Right? They're just like, let's roll these suckers into next week. I'm done with this week. This week has been done data. But yeah, they are. They got 4 strikes. One's already in the money, but again, we're not going to talk about that because a lot can happen by then. Now, the value of this fund is 375 mil. The NAV is 1642. Trade price is 1641. Now, don't forget, this was a $50 fund that has been getting its ass kicked all the way down to 16. Once it hit 20, it kind of battled pretty well. But again, the underlying, it's the underlying that went, it got destroyed, right? Had some bad news about their auditors and all that. But, their auditors left them. But I think since then, they've been fighting. It's been an ongoing battle. But it's been, in this range, I'll say, for a little bit. Now, the synthetic on paper, it's worth about 402, which that's awesome. I mean, look, it's a $16 fund. $4? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Can you feel it? Huh? Can you? Can you? All right, synthetic contracts total 72,000. What are they selling calls on? All of it. What are they doing carry to call spreads on? All of it. Okay, good. Whatever. Now, 30-day IV is 69%. Hell to the yeah. 7-day forward, 78%. Again, I love the IV on this one. True degenerates love this. They love it. I'd like to see 100. They used to be 100. Now they're just like blah, 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 blah. But whatever, man. Income estimate shows 7 cents, and they don't declare for another freaking 19 days. So stay tuned for that. Chico. All right, let's talk about TSLY. All right, the OG of OGs, the original high yield ETF. Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know TSLY was the first YieldMax fund, along with OARC? No one likes OARC though, so really TSLY gets all the credit. But anyway, let's see. Buy call, sell put, sell call. Yeah. All right, so they added to the 420. A little expensive. Tesla's at 436. So they paid a little pretty penny to add to that synthetic. And then they closed what here? 37 cents, 472. What the hell? What the hell? They closed this sucker out for cheap. Oh, wow. All right. Well, whatever. They lost 3 mil in the process. Let's go to the file here, see what we're dealing with. All right, Tesla, they ended up having a rough day. But again, they've been going up high for quite some time. So they finally went down. They went down 5.38%. Now, TSLY, on the other hand, which was approaching $10, they went down 14%. Oh my God. Why? Well, again, Tesla went down and ex-dividend date. So you combine the two and it looks like a butt kicking, you got your butt kicked, but it's okay. It's okay because you know what today is? Today is payday. And I think a lot of TSLY holders are happy with this particular distribution because it's a bigger one than normal. That's what she said. All right, synthetic, what do we got here? We got a 415 and a 420. And Tesla sits at 436. So obviously these are doing fantastical. All right. So, but what do we care about? We care about the weeklies. All right. This is how we generate income. The covered calls, they're actually doing well. They are 3 and 7% out of the money, thanks to that droppity-doo-dah. So they can handle some Tesla upside today if Tesla decides. By the way, I'm looking at BMNU, which we'll talk about in a little bit. That sucker just keeps going up. But anyway, the value of the TSLY fund is about 1.2 bill. The NAV is 846. Trade price the same. Now, synthetic on the paper is worth 42 cents per share. Again, is that good? On an $8 fund? Yeah, sure, pretty good. Now, synthetic contracts total 28,000, and they're selling calls. Oh, they ain't selling calls on all of it. Let's double check this. Yeah, they're not. They're not selling cover calls on all of it. Only 89%. And then credit call spreads on 95% of that 89%. Now let's check out the IVs, 62 and 61. That's okay. Income estimate 246. Wait a second. Yeah, they should have restarted their income estimate actually. So my bad. I didn't update it. What was Monday's date? Because again, group A, they kind of reset, right? So they started September 29th. So what I'll do is I'll plug that in here. And that's the new start date. All right, so only Robley. Yeah, it's not working. What is the polling? 20,000. What are the trades up to now? Trades are past 20,000. What? I got to plug in 40,000. There you go. Fill in. All right. So obviously TSLY, you can see debit. So that's a loss. So are these cut off too? Oh my goodness. All right. So PLTY, I think PLTY's went up. My bad, guys. See these stupid pivot tables. HOOY. All right. And then we got Group D, of course. Come on. There you go. 40. Okay. All right. Where the hell were we? TSLY. Income estimate 0. But it's a loss, actually. That should be a negative. But whatever, man. Group A, they just declared. So, yeah. 26 days till the next declaration. Let's make sure these pivot tables are updated to pull up the latest and greatest stuff here. Let's see. 10-2 was yesterday, right? Let's check out this pivot. This one goes up to 40,000 already, so that's good. All right, so SLTY yesterday, did they make money? When I say make money, I'm just talking about the actual income, the realized income, okay? So if we look here, they made 246,000. You know, this is kind of be like the coverage going forward. Just simpleton. All right. Now, who was the biggest contributor? Nebius Group. They made about 119,000. And then Circle, right? I think they just launched a Circle fund actually, and they made about 51,000. Did they launch that Circle fund? I got to update my freaking spreadsheet. You know, this is like never ending. Again, it's a great time to automate the process. Let's check out ULTY. Did they make money? No, they lost. They took a loss of 46 million. Who made money though? Upstart made money. Palo Alto, the one I cannot read, made money. Open Door made money. Yeah, Open Army, baby. All right, who else? Coinbase, they lost money, a lot of money. Rigetti lost a lot of money. Symbiotic lost a lot of money, but it is what it is. Now let's check out the holdings. Anything new here? Any new holdings? Lucid Group, is that new? Maybe. That's pretty much it. Nothing too exciting. Average IV looking in the 84% range. ULTY fund is worth about 3.3 bill. The movement in price, they had ex-dividend date, but they only went down 3 cents. Again, the distribution was 9. So obviously overall they did go up technically, right? 6 cents. So that's good. The Qs went up 0.41%. Now, if we look at the SALTY, hello, the SALTY, Iron, is that new? I think that's new. Kratos, that looks new. So they're adding some stuff. They still hate the lemonade. They got the lemonade in there, and their average IV is 85. Now, SALTY is about what, 15 mil. But they also had X date, but they it looks like they went down as well, but they went down 3.52% with X date. So did the YQs. They went down 0.24%. All right, so that's the coverage on YieldMax funds. I know it feels like it took too long, but hey, we made it through. We made it through. Now we have a question here. Eric Katz, how you doing? Question for ULTY. Last payment was 0% ROC. Why? Why? What do you mean why? Again, that's a guesstimate. Well, they call it estimate, right? They call it the estimated ROC. And again, it just depends. A lot of the ULTY holdings, which again I have hidden. Yeah, where I can't. How do you get to the hidden sheets? It doesn't matter. But there's the ULTY holdings. They're not. Some of them I know. I don't think they're synthetics. So they're actually just not cashing out on all the upside. So if you think about it, you know, it all depends on the options premium, how much they're generating. So, you know, even though the ULTY ETF price is going up, that could be a lot of it could be unrealized because of the holdings that they're holding, right? So, for example, if they hold Robinhood stock and Robinhood's been running up, which helps ULTY run up, but they never sold the stock, they're just selling covered calls, and those covered calls are getting blown through week in and week out, then that's going to be a loss. However, they're still paying out money. So obviously they're able to pay out the return of capital. It's kind of like how FEPI works in a way, if you understand FEPI. I don't know if that helped out, Eric, or if you understood what I just said, but hopefully it did. All right. Scrolling back a little bit. Any other questions? No, it's just chit chat amongst. Okay. Oh, it worked. Thanks. All right. You're welcome. LA, how you doing? All right. How you doing? All right. Okay. So let's go. Let go. All right. Now we're going to talk about my options because again, now it's all about me. All right. Now you waited this long for me to talk about me. All right. But before that, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. But I'm going to play some music because who cares, right? Who cares? I'm going to that's what the music is called. Feed the ducks. All right. All right. So, all right, we got another question. Eric Katz with the questions today. Is MSTY going to change to weekly? God, I hope not. But I do not know the answer, and I would not be surprised if it did. I don't care about this weekly. We have enough weekly funds. Do we really need every single freaking YieldMax fund to be weekly? I mean, what I got to do a guesstimate then on like 40 funds every week? Could you imagine? Good Lord. All right. Anyway, as I have been discussing, I'm selling covered calls on all my MSTY shares. I have 600 of them in this account, and I want to get rid of them and essentially buy them in the dividend CAR account. So I sold another call on MSTY, expiration date 10/24. That just happens to be one day after the next X date. So even if I get assigned, hopefully I can collect the distribution on the way out. However, yes, I understand I could be assigned early, and getting assigned early is something normal that happens on playing options on these high yield funds. So right now I have two 14 covered calls and now two 15 covered calls. And you can see MSTY is at 1473. And if I look at the pre-market, it's at 1477. So yeah, all of these are in danger, but I don't care because they can go bye-bye. All right, they can go bye-bye. How much did I make in premium? I made $34 in premium for that covered call. For this week, I made $102 MSTY alone. Again, just on the premium for holding MSTY. I also sold puts, which, you know, again, I don't cover the dividend car account on a daily basis, but I sold puts on that account in hopes of getting assigned and getting more shares, if that makes sense. All right. All right. Moving on to T to the S to the L to the L. Again, yesterday, what did I do? All right. Yesterday was the 2nd. I did a lot. So if I scroll up here, I did mention this yesterday. So I have 2 covered calls expiring today, a 17 and a 16, right? So they are or were 15 and 20% in the money. So what does that mean? If I left these alone, they would have sold. They would have gotten assigned, you know, either at the close Friday or even early. But I did not leave them alone. I decided to create rolling order. And all that means is I'm rolling this, I'm closing this position and opening a new position, same strike, but different expiration. But the expiration I chose was 1031. So if I look down here, again, here's the 17, here's the new 17, and I made 83 cents in the process. So it cost $5.25 to close out the old. I don't plug that in here, as you see, but I do net it with the new trade, and the new trade paid me 608. So 608 minus 525, I still was able to capture $83 in doing a rolling order, which ended up yielding me 46%. 46% is good enough for me, again, to continue to roll these trades. Now, that's the 17. The 16, since it's more in the money, is going to pay a little less. So if I look at that one only paid me $57, and that yielded me 32%. So that's on the cusp. You know, if I was yielding a little lower than that, then I may have not done it. I may have said, you know what, freaking take my damn shares because I can make more money on that money. But a 32% annualized yield, that's still pretty good. So I did the rolling order on both of them. And between the two, I collected yesterday $140. Again, because why the hell not? Why the hell not? I also did 2 more trades. TSLY, you know, I saw Tesla was red. I'm like, oh, let me do a put. Now, it was different types of red. There was a 2224 red and then a 2080. So the reason I sold 2 puts is because it did drop heavily in the afternoon. So I sold 2 puts, a 15 and a 14, and I sold them on Happy Halloween. All right. So again, I got a lot of trades going into Halloween because why not, bro? Why not? Both of them had a delta of 0.09, which to me, in my world, is considered safety doo-dah. But again, this is a double leverage play. So this thing can move rapidly and you'll just get whooped. But again, well, how much did I risk? I risked 1,500 and 1,400. How much did I get paid? 43 and 40. So that yielded me 36% and 35%. So again, making money on TSLY in the same wheel constantly. By the way, this current wheel, I have made $6,360, which, you know, it's insane. Insane in the membrane. Insane, I got no brain. All right, how much did we make so far for the week? $274. Yep, so far on TSLY, which is pretty good. All right, moving on to TNA Dynamite. All right, so what do we got expiring today? We got a put, $35 put. You may recall I opened a bunch of these. This thing is not getting assigned. It's just going to expire worthless, and I'll get $3,500 back in my actual cash bucket. Next week, I have another put at 35. Again, probably not getting assigned. But then I have a covered call at 42. And then I'll have to make a decision. Am I just going to let these shares get assigned and start a new wheel in TNA? Maybe. Am I going to roll it? Maybe. You know, I can decide then. Again, I already made the tab because I love trading TNA. I want to start a new wheel, and I may. All right. So what else we got going on here? We got open army, as you know. I did not sell a put yesterday. I just have the 6 puts pending, and 2 expire today. $8 strike and a $7 strike. Open is at 8. The pre-market shows it's up. So I'm obviously the 8 is in danger for sure. The 7 is probably not. But I welcome assignment on these. I actually want to get assigned a few shares. Right now I'm assigned 100. If I go down here, 100 at $9. I'm hoping to get assigned another 100 at 8. Then my cost basis could be $8.50, but we'll keep an eye out for that. And then of course I got a whole bunch of other puts, and you know, we'll see. So I've been making some decent money on open for the week. I made 176 bucks. AMDL I haven't touched, to be honest. Like I said, I don't like their options change, so I'll move on. RCAT, I didn't touch them yesterday either. ST, I didn't touch them either, but this one is getting interesting because it's, I don't know. I wanted to just, I could have paid 3 cents to close this yesterday, but to be honest, I'm like, screw that. I'm not paying 3 cents. You know what? Just let it be. 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 All right. So anyway, ST, how much did I make so far this week? 50 bucks. Up in her. Up in her. Y'all gonna make me lose my cool. Up in her. All right. BMNU. I did not do any trades on them yesterday. I want to, but I did not because I haven't even run the numbers. I got to check the balance with you guys at the end in a second. But again, this is the one, man. I made 400 bucks on this trade. I gotta love it. You know, this should be like Thanksgiving colors too. You know, orange with what colors? Thanksgiving, orange and black. No, that's Halloween, right? What color is Thanksgiving? Still orange, right? Orange and yellow. Whoops. Orange with yellow font. There we go. There's turkey-ish. All right, anyway. So yeah, BMNU bringing in this week 400 bucks. Okay, now leap time. I want to show you something. All right, so again, I unhid these just so you guys can see some of the leaps that I had and I closed. So you could see like I had an open leap. I made 80 bucks overall, and then I made 50 on the TSLL put. Again, protective put, right? I bought a put, it went down, I made money for TSLL going down. Now MSTU has been going up. So my leap, it cost me $134 originally. Yesterday, the thing was worth $210. So I took it. I cashed out because again, this is dated March of 26. So I made $76, which in the end, that was 56% of, right, what I paid originally. So I actually, again, since I netted $76 only over basically, I held this for 7 days, right? I yielded this 2,957% because I only put up 134 bucks. So to me, that was a no-brainer to do a sell to close. So that's why I did the sell to close, if that makes sense. So I can gray that out now. And again, I'm tracking these a little differently from my covered calls and all that, because this is just an experiment. This is the experiment tab here. So far, my expense on the leaps is $15.38. This includes the money I made on the income on the other ones. All right. Does that make sense? Oh, wait, I have a question. Why aren't you selling calls against your leaps? Well, I don't know, because they're so damn cheap. Like, I guess I could have sold a call on what? The MST, what, the MSTX play or MSTU play, right? But what if it got blown through, right? I don't know. I'm just the ones that I'm doing the leaps on, I don't know if selling calls are worth it, like especially on open, because that thing could jump up and then it'll just be, to me, not worth it. That's why I'm still doing the wheel on these separately, but I just haven't ventured. If these are massively in a profit, maybe, I don't know, maybe, I'll just say maybe. But good question. Good question from the Delta man. Options on my options. All right, so Rod says, Sunita, I hope HOOY isn't disappointing again. Yeah, if so, we're all in trouble because Sunita's gonna be pissed. She's gonna whoop someone's ass. Hopefully not mine. All right, anyway, I'm not gonna go over the open positions, but I am gonna update my balance because I haven't done this in a while. So let's do this together. I need to know where I stand actually on your dime, and I got to get my ass to work after this. Okay, current balance is 50. You'll notice it went down, but the reason it went down is, well, guess what? It's October 3rd. So the first just happened. If the first just happened, my mortgage payment exited the account. So $1,300 just came out of the account on the first. So that's why it dropped. Now let's look at the available cash. 110.7. So not much change there. The invested, this is just a formula. Pending puts, that's probably going to be a decent amount. Yep, 27 now. 27,250. Now that's a lot, right? Because look at the actual cash. I only actually have $6,860. So if I sell a few puts today, I could be in the margin, you know, and that's okay. It is okay. All right. Speaking of margin, how much do I have? Not much, actually. Only 16,912.70. But I'll have that $3,500 put expiring today on TNA, so that's good. And then I have, of course, the margin on the entire account, which also went down 56,375. Now, the problem with trading a lot of these degenerate plays is they are all 100% maintenance, which means I cannot borrow, I cannot have margin on any of it, which sucks. Yes, it sucks, but hey, it is what it is. All right, let me catch up with the comments. Yeah, I don't like being cappity doo-dah, although I don't mind if I'm getting the income. Never yours, Rod. Close call. Good thing. But I enjoy whooping it. I can see that. You got a little fire in you. LA flexing for everyone. Look at that. Dad bod in motion. Beginning of the month, probably out of pay bills. Yeah. So yeah, only the mortgage comes out of this account. I'll be doing my account update either today or sometime this weekend, which includes the dividend car. So be on the lookout for that. Yes, the thumbnail is a little different. So the dividend car thumbnail is actually really small, which probably is not good because people have been like, that's like everyone's favorite episode, the dividend car account. But I pay bills out of both accounts. So that's why I just combine it all and talk about it all together. But anyway, so what else? That's it. That's the update. I got nothing else. Oh, yes, I do. My weekly income. I have made so far this week in options $1,002. Yeah, I'm playing a little aggressive. Yes, I'm a degenerate, a little bit, but this is fantastic. So I feel really good about this. In 1 week, I almost paid for the mortgage. Again, the mortgage is $1,300. Yeah, so I could make $300 today. I could do something stupid, right, and make it $300. I could, and just pay the mortgage in one shot. Bam, done. Anyway, That's pretty much all I got for the day. So I think we're going to end it. Let's do one more Bitcoin check before we sign out here. And we're all going to head over to LA's premiere. By the way, if LA is still here, if you could post your premiere so we could all join. And yeah, we'll keep the chit chat going. By the way, we gave Yield and Grace a shout out yesterday. And actually, I ended up booking her for a morning show. So we'll see her on the morning show soon enough too. And maybe her family as well, since they all watch the channel. So anyway, guys, we got a comment from Sunita. I enjoy your account coverage. Love to see how you manage it all. Gives me courage and maybe retire sooner. Well, Sunita, you know, we all know you can retire now. You told us how much bank you be making. So HOOY, HOOW coming hot at 182. Okay. All right, guys. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and this video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, come back tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. Tomorrow's video, since the weekend, will probably be a 6:30 video. And we'll cover how the trades ended up for the week, and then we'll go from there. But like I said, since September is now up, I'll do an account update video at some point. So be on the lookout for that. All right. Any questions? Let me know in the comments down below. I do want to hear feedback though on what kind of coverage you guys want to see, whether it be YieldMax or not, even just overall investment related, because I plan on changing things up on this channel, because, you know, the view count, I got to be real here, the view count is dropping. So obviously the interest is not the same that it was. So since that's the case, I need to, you know, take a little U-turn here and revisit, you know, my strategy, at least for the channel. All right. If that makes sense. I'm still going to do high yield funds, you know, now and forever probably, but, you know, just spice it up a little, do something a little different, maybe even change my thumbnail. I haven't changed my thumbnail in what, 2 years, but yeah, maybe that probably is hurting me, to be honest. But this is why I need like content expert or someone to smack me in the face like, what the hell are you doing, bro? This is garbage. What are you doing, bro? Anyway, I gotta end it there. So we got to get to the keywords. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you gotta say the keyword. What is the keyword? All right, what is the keyword? Tomorrow's show, 6:30 a.m. Charles. I have to do 6 during the week because work, but 6:30 on the well, weekends I could probably do later, but I'm so the schedule's 6:30, so I try not to change it too much. Keyword, yeah, that's actually a good keyword. See, brother, he knows, man. He knows. He understands me. So yeah, it's kind of like based on what we just said on the YouTube channel, it's time to you know, change things up, right? Mix it up a little bit. All right. So as brother said, if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you got to type in the keyword. It's Rod 2.0. And, you know, also, if you'd like to type any suggestions, they are welcome. All right. If you type no singing, I can't promise that. Sorry. I know a lot of people don't want me to sing, but it's part of the channel. That will always be part of the channel. In fact, we may make a singing playlist one day, just a whole, you know, a whole video of singing, right? Maybe not. Anyway, I'm out of here. Have a great day, everyone. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Later.